So hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great and staying safe. I hope your college classes are going well and you all are enjoying your college curriculum. So again, we are back with this day 2 of Azure fundamentals, specifically Azure AI, Azure AZ900 exam, and we are covering the syllabus covered by Microsoft for AZ900 certification. And this bootcamp will be of 3 days. One day is already yesterday. Ma'am told you all about the basics of the theory part specifically. Today it's entire hands-on session, and you will be getting the crux idea how to create and how to implement those things what you have learned yesterday. So let me give a little brief about Azure Developer Community first. So let me share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible to you. So this is Azure Developer Community is all about. This is powered by Microsoft, and we are helping community folks, college students, industrial experts to start their content journey, to start their cloud journey specifically. If someone wants to share their, if someone wants to join us as a community organizer, as a speaker, as a like you are just all you are students. So if you want to be like as your developer lead, so you can apply through this website. So let me share a link with you all. So you can be a community lead also, and you can organize this. It will be a good experience working with Microsoft, and you will meet some extraordinary minds, some experienced people, some like we are having our guest speaker here, Nirisha. So some brilliant minds you will meet who are having some incredible experience in the cloud world. So not taking much time, I'm just giving the mic to Nirisha. So let me give a little bit more about Nirisha. So she's cloud engineer and she's Microsoft certified trainer, and she will be teaching you today about Microsoft AZ900 certification exam, and today it's gonna be total entire hands-on session. So over to you, Nirisha.
Hello everybody. So just I'm going to do the hands-on. So I'm going to share the screen. Yeah, I think you can see my slide. So we had the agenda. So today you'll get to know the core Azure architectural components. So architecture is important for knowing the Azure services. And you'll get to know the core services which are available in Azure. So you'll get to know what is the use of virtual machine, how are you going to create a virtual machine, Azure App Services, Azure Container Instance, the AKS. The AKS is like the Kubernetes services and the Azure Virtual Desktop. And you'll get to know about virtual networks, how the virtual networks are used for peering, and about the ExpressRoute. So basically, you're getting to know what is the benefits of using Azure region and region pairs. So, like I told yesterday, you'll have availability zones. So availability zones are like so Azure regions and availability zones are designed to help you achieve resilience and reliability for your business critical workloads. So it maintains multiple geographies. So each Azure region features data centers are deployed with a latency defined parameter. Like there is some latency for your files to be transferred from one place to another, so that there is zero tolerance to local failures. So failures can range from software to hardware failures. So I won't take much of your time by explaining most of the theories. So basically, by looking at this diagram, you'll get to know like geography contains one or more regions. Example, take as East US and West US. So that is like one or more regions. So region pair is like there are two regions of the same geography. Maybe in East US you have one or more data centers, or in one more in West US you have two, more than two or three. So this is just a mapping. And what is the benefit? So basically, you should know what is the benefit of using the Azure services, right? So basically, you'll get to deploy the VMs in different locations. Basically, in the time of outage, availability zone helps you in a better way. Imagine in one or more data center, if there is outage, you can your all the services will be shifted to the second zone. So based on this diverse connectivity, the availability zones will be working. So I'll just explain this in the later part when I'm explaining. So resource group. So I'll just show how a resource group is created. So basically, you should know the definition of a resource group. So everybody knows like a container. So container is like you're going to store something in that. So basically in a resource group, it is like a container that holds the resources together. So it can include all the resources for the solutions. That is a very well way to manage a group. So you decide to you can decide how you want to allocate the resources. So basically you can decide in which resource group you want to allocate those resources. So I'll just share the screen and show how you create a resource group. So basically this is your Azure portal. So resource groups. So you come to the resource group panel. So here if you go to the create window, I mean to the create option, so you can see subscription. So I have my subscription, okay, subscription as a sponsorship. So here you can give your resource group name as anything as possible, but I'm giving as demo resource group. So region, so you can, there is lot of regions, so I'm going to choose East US. So next is tags. So you can create like why is this resource. So see basically whether it is managed for AKS or any of the resources. So okay, you can take it like uh, I'm going to use this for the virtual machine demo. So I'm going to give a tag like virtual machine, and you can give the value as demo, something like that. So then your resource group is created. So basically this is a empty resource group. So there is nothing in this, so because you can't see any resources inside this, so it's empty. So if you want to create any resources, you can create the resources inside your resource group. So basically when you come to overview, here it is like manage the view, edit the columns, or else you can delete the resource group, open a query, activity log. When you come to this activity blade, so here it is going to show the activity logs, like what has been the recent activity done, like if it is critical main, what is the critical activity time span. You can change the time span to last month, I mean, but I created just now, so that's not possible. So when you are in a real time environment, so you get to see all this stuff. So if you go like 24 hours, so you'll get to know what was the activity done in on this resource group in the last 24 hours. So this is a nice thing in this access control. So basically you don't want everybody to access your resource group, so you can add role assignment. It's like you're assigning some roles. So see, so here there are different access. So owner is like it grants full access to manage all the resources, including the ability to assign roles. So if I assign someone as the owner, so they are able to come and see the resources, manipulate everything. So contributor is like you can create resources. So the best option I guess is I give the reader option, so that they can only just see the, yeah, so you can see the permissions. So you can only read the domain service, get the network endpoints, like the inbound and the outbound rules, that is ingress and the outgress rules. So you can see what is the permission for each and everything. So I'm selecting this role and assigning. So you can, even when you come and assign a user group, you can select members. So basically, I think I'm going to take Abhishek Singh. So this guy is having only the read access to the resource group which I have created. So review and assign. So a role assignment has been done. So the tags, basically you can give the tags like when was it created, uh, why is this application used. So basically when you give tags, it enables to categorize the resources and view the consolidated billing, apply same tags to the resources and resource groups. And this is a resource visualizer. So you can choose resources to view in resource visualizer. So it's like a graphical representation of your resources. So I think when I create a VM, you'll get to know in a better way. Deployments. So uh, these are the deployment. Then the security policy, like, okay, It's loading. So you can add locks. So basically, you can add locks to delete. So that when you're building a production environment, so that someone does not delete your resource group by mistake. So if you delete a resource group, there will be a lot of losses. Your VM is deleted, your NIC cards get deleted, your SQL DB gets deleted. So there is a lot of financial outage. So lock type is delete. So I'll so delete lock. So this prevents from deleting logs. I mean deleting the resource group. And this is like the insights. So you'll get to know if something goes wrong in your resource group, like whatever happened, there is some service outage. So alerts, even the alerts are like, it's going to tell if the resource group is not working fine. So you can create a alert rule. Add, see, so is like a custom log search can be added. So you can create such kind of rules. So basically, there is support plus troubleshooting also. So basically, you can ask with the Microsoft MS. You can raise a MS case and ask what is the issue you're facing with this resource group, and they will help to solve the issues. And when you raise, they might give troubleshooting issues to make your resource group up and running. So this is the demo about resource group. Yeah, so when you come to Azure Resource Manager, so what is Azure Resource Manager? So as you can see the diagram, you might feel like, what is it doing? It might be same as the resource group itself. So but it is like the deployment and the management service for Azure. It provides a management layer, so that it enables to create, update and delete resources in your account. So it's like you use management features like access control. So basically the same way which I told. So basically I'm the administrator of my Azure, my resource group. So it's like I'm the manager of my resources. So I can control whoever access it. I can put the logs, I can put tags and organize the resources even after deployment. So basically here, if you can see in the PPT, here it's like Azure portal, the PowerShell, SQL, Azure CLI and the rest clients, they and what the SDKs, that is the software development kit, all have the API, and they come to the Azure Resource Manager, where you have access to the data store, web app, virtual machine, service management, and other services. So it's like a consistent management layer. So when a user sends a request from any of the Azure tools like APIs or SDKs, the resource manager will receive the request from these. Like you can see the Azure portal or the PowerShell. So the manager sends a request to the Azure service, okay, which takes the requested action because all the requests are handled through the API. So basically now I'm requesting for a virtual machine to be created. So from the Azure portal, so that request goes to the Azure resource manager, and then a VM is deployed. So all the capabilities are available in the portal as well as through the PowerShell, basically the PowerShell commands or the CLIs. So yeah, that is about Azure Resource Group. Azure Resource Manager. Coming to subscription. So I want to show the screen for what is subscription. So basically this, yeah. So when you create an account through Azure, you get a subscription. So this is a sponsored subscription, but if you're creating by using a credit card, you'll get a free trials subscription. So here you'll get the subscription ID, and this is the subscription name, and you'll get the billing amount and the currency in which you're billing, and the status is important, like whether the subscription is active or deactivated. Subscription is like basically if you create the normal, the iconic example of Netflix, the subscription. If a subscription gets invalid, you cannot use the resources. Same way, if this subscription gets expired, you cannot use the portal. So here you get the top products by number of resources. So basically, maybe I'm using the network security groups or the virtual networks or the public IP address. So here you have the same way, like you can analyze the cost of what is a subscription. I mean, I think it's loading. So you'll get the cost alerts basically. So since it's the scope is Azure sponsorship, I cannot change the scope. Basically, if you have a normal account, so you are able to add the, yeah, you can change the scope to the normal account and create a budget. So a budget is like basically imagine you're going to reach, I mean, all the resources are going to reach around 5,000. So you get an alert for creating, I mean, using the resources up till 5K. So that time you can delete those resources if it is not needed. So that is going to save costs. And these what is advisor recommendation. So here you get feedback from the Azure advisor. It's what is it? It's like Azure advisor is like a virtual consultant who is there to improve your services. But it's like basically maybe it's like a chatbot who is present behind the screen and helping you to create better resources and better subscription. How can you handle your services? So you'll get your bill payment methods, like how are you paying the bill. So basically you can pay the bills via the credit cards or pay as you go for the subscription. And this is invoice is like a bill. So, and I think, yeah, this is the management. So here if you can see the screen, yeah, so the management groups, if you come, the top level is the management groups. So here when you come to the management, here you can have the benefits of what creating different subscription. If I can show the management groups, yeah. So how did I get this window? So basically you come to the cost management, and here you can see manage your subscription, resource group, all this stuff. So when you come to management groups, here it's like user can manage groups. Like basically imagine this is my tenant group. So basically I'm from a company and this is my subscriptions. Okay, but I want one more group. Like maybe that subscription is using only for dev environment. So I can create one more management group. So basically I can create like this, create a group ID like B company something, B. Let me do display the name as B. Just a sample example I'm giving. So it might create a group. So if you have any extra subscription, it might create extra subscriptions on this, so that you can manage in an efficient way, as you have seen in the slide. Yeah, so you got to know, right? Like see, if you have a management group, you can add subscription. You can add one more management group. Imagine, okay, imagine your company is, okay, your company, okay, you're the CEO of Microsoft. That is impossible anyway, but you have other subscriptions. I mean, you can have extra management groups for dev environment, then for production, then for testing, and below that you can have subscriptions for production, development, and testing. And then you can segregate the resources, like this resource group is only for dev environment, this resource group is only for testing. So that will be easy when you use different subscription and management groups. So that's what I'm telling. So virtual machines. So I'm going to share the screen and show how a virtual machine is created. think I've shown it yesterday, but I'm showing it again. So come to the virtual machine blade. So here, this is the virtual machine panel where you can create virtual machine. So I'm going to create a virtual machine. So basically, if you want to create a new resource group for your virtual machine, you can create, but I'm using the one which I had already created for demo resource group. So basically that time I showed that resource group, but it was empty. So when I create this virtual machine is created inside the resource group. So it's like no infrastructure redundancy required. So I'm going to choose the availability zone. So basically you got to know, right, like what is an availability zone. So I can choose between any of these zones. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, because in virtual machine it gives the flexibility of virtualization. So you can use different locations where the resources are to be stored. So when you use the availability for the virtual machine, it Azure has announced the 99.9% service level agreement, the SLA, that it is going to be up and running for 99.9%. But when you go for premium things, so obviously when you go for premium stuffs, you get more security. So they have guaranteed 99.95% of VM security. So you still need to deploy 2 or more VMs running in your workload for an availability set. Like an availability set is like it ensures that your VMs are distributed across multiple fault domains in the Azure data centers, and it is as well as deployed into a host with different maintenance windows. So basically there are quota limits, so you cannot sit and create 10, 20, 30 virtual machines at a time. So basically there is limit for one subscription. So basically for one subscription there is a limit of creating 20 VMs per region. So you can raise the limits of creating a VM, like if you're in a real time environment. So you need to deploy more VMs. So that time you can file a support request requesting an increase. So basically, so image type is like you can see all the images, basically what it is serving. So I'm going to take a Windows image, like my OS is going to be Windows. So if I want, I can take as Linux also. So these are the standard sizes. I mean, the size of the VM, what are you going to use? So you can see the cost. So basically, if I use this, it's going to cost me so much. So I'm going to go for the least one. So I'm going to give the username. So basically username and I mean administrator account. So all the admins, when you're logging in, you need a admin password and admin username. So basically I'm going to create the admin password and admin username. So basically I'm going to keep it as admin, and the password, okay, I think it's been used. Admin 11. So yeah, basically if I want, I can allow the inbound port networks. So what is inbound port rule? So virtual network ports are accessible from the public internet. So basically you don't want everybody from the public environment to access your VM. So basically if you're in a production environment, not everybody should be accessible to the VM. So that will be like a security breach. So I'm just doing this. So you can use SSH or RDP. So I'm just going to use the RDP. RDP is remote desk protocol. So I'm going to show you how is it working also. So I'm going for this standard one. So the selected VM supports premium disks also. So basically they are recommending for premium because it gives, higher amount of connectivity and SLAs. So if you want, you can put enable ultra disk capability, but for the selected VM which I've chosen standard, that it's not available. So here I'll show this how to add an extra disk, and when I'm coming to the disk part. So basically it has already created a virtual network. I'll explain this. So a virtual network for virtual machine is by configuring the NIC cards. Basically, when you're connected to the network from the internet in the olden computers, like in the desktop, you need a NIC card to connect to the internet, so you can control the ports, inbound, output connectivity via the security rule. So that's why we are using the NIC cards for this. So basically, I'm going to tick like when I'm going to delete the VM, I'm going to delete the NIC cards as well as the public IP, because if I keep it running, I'll be billed for everything. Yeah. So your virtual machine is getting created. Yeah, if you have any doubt, I think you can ask whatever, because it's going to take a bit of time for the deployment to get completed.
So as of now, there are no doubts in the comment section. So you can just what you can do is you can go with the stream, like you can go with the slides. Chandra.
Okay. So when you're coming to Azure App Service, so building apps is way more interesting than doing anything, especially for the developers, and we manage in the cloud. So that is interesting for them. But yeah. So what is Azure App Service? So it is like an HTTP based service for hosting web applications. So you can use REST APIs, mobile backends. You can develop and in your favorite language like .NET Core, Java, Ruby, Node.js, PHP, or Python. Unfortunately, there is, I think, yeah, most of them are covered for now. I think there is no Golang. Applications can run and scale with the ease of both Windows and Linux. So App Service not only adds power to the Microsoft to your applications, but obviously when you're deploying app, you need security. There is auto scaling, and you have deployment capabilities, that continuous integration and continuous deployment via the Azure DevOps, GitHub, Docker Hub. So basically, I've told you about the advantage of we use the app service. So I'm going to show the demo. So basically, I think if my VM is deployed, still in progress. Okay, I can show you. Yeah, I'll show you after I finish this. So basically, my VM is ready, up and running. So maybe, okay, I think there is some issue in the agent status is not ready. So there may be a issue maybe while starting this VM. So for the urgency, I've created other VMs. So I'll just show you. So yeah, here is the VM. So here everything is running up and fine. So when you come to the VM, so you'll get to see the resource group. So the status is very important. So if I stop, yeah, so basically there is public IP running. So if I stop the VM, it is saving public IP address, but the state will be going into what a deallocated state, because you're stopping the virtual machine. So here you'll get to see the operating system, the standard size, networking. But I think it's already stopping. Yeah. So here you can see everything about the virtual machine, like I told. So this is the virtual subnet I'm using. This is the public IP. So these are the disks. So, and this is the availability zone. I've not added anything. So you can connect to the VM. I mean, yeah, I was about to tell about the networking. So the ingress and the outgress. So here, basically, you can add inbound rules to the VM, uh, like different port numbers, like for RDPing the VM, or else for SSH, you can use this. So basically, if you go and add a inbound port rule, you can use the port range. Like port range can be any destination you can choose as the IP address and give the IP address for which it has to be connected. You can choose among these protocols and whether that connection should be allowed. You can allow and deny. So based on the priority, like if you give higher priority, like based on from 10,000 to 65,000, there's a lot of priority. So between that, you can give your rules and name it. So that time the inbound port is added. So here I am going to tell about the disks in the VM. So this is my OS disk. OS disk is the main disk. So here I can add new disks. So basically, I'm going to choose the LUN as first, and data disk name you can give as data disk 1. Okay, sorry. So, okay. I'm going to use the standard one. So you can give the size based on your wish. So max IOP is the input output processing and the max throughput. So you're going to save. So basically a VM, you can see that new disk is already attached when it's getting attached. So you can see it on the Windows pane. So when you come to the overview panel, so here I had stopped the VM, so it is deallocated. So it's getting deallocated. So basically, yeah. So you can now you can see the public IP address, but it is stopped. So basically, when you go into the deallocating state, the VM gets stopped. So you can, so when you're supposed to increase the size of the VM, so basically, yeah, OS disk, you're going to stop the VM. So imagine there comes a scaling up environment. So you're going to scale using these sizes. So basically, if the customer asks he wants 8 GB of CPUs and 32 GB of RAM, so you can choose this and resize it like D4S. Yeah, D4S. So I'll resize the VM. So it's going to resize it. So, and the security. So here you are getting to know that there are no a recommendation or security alert, meaning everything is running fine in your VM for now. And you can also put your VM as auto shutdown. So when the VM has to shut down. So basically, you can give the timings when the VM has to be shut. Going off. So when you come to the run command, so here you can start the VM. So you need to start the VM. Basically, I've stopped it. So you need backup for everything. So backup of the data is very important. So here I don't have a backup. So I'm going to enable the backup for this VM. So it basically now I have created the backup, how to deploy a VM, how to stop the VM, how to add a data disk, and so basically these are the basic characteristics of the VM. So now I'm going to I think I can move forward with my uh, I think I can't show the screen. Yeah, with the app service. So basically, if you have any doubts in Azure virtual machines, please put it in your chat window. So I'm going to go for the app services. So I've already created one. So I'm going to just create one. Creating an app service is simple. So this is actually a PaaS service, platform as a service. So I'm going to use the demo resource group. So I'm going to name it as demo. So you can publish it as a Docker container or a static web app. So you can use a run stack. So what is runtime stack is like basically what is the code you're going to use. So basically I'm going to use the Python. You can choose anything. So Linux plan. So there is app servicing pricing tier which determines the location, feature, and cost. So basically you have to deploy your app. So basically I'm deploying my app in the central US. So basically depends on the costs. So the SKUs and the size. So basically this is choosing the premium. So I'm just going for deployment. So here you have continuous deployment. So you can use GitHub Action, which is an automation of framework that can build, test, deploy your app whenever a new commit is made in your repository. So basically, if you do something in your GitHub repository, it will add a workflow file automatically to deploy your app to the app service. So if your code is not in the GitHub, so you can create it, create the web app, and then you can set it for the deployment. So I'm going to enable it. So here you can see I've already linked my GitHub account. Uh, so basically, I'm selecting the organization is like that's my GitHub account name and the repo from which you want to uh, want the app or the code to be deployed. So basically I'm taking it. Next is monitoring. I don't want application insights because I'm just showing it for a demo. Yeah, so when this gets deployed, I'm going to show the resource group which I had created that time. So you get to see that the resources are still there in that resource group. Yeah, see, sorry, this is not it, I guess. Yeah, this was the thing. Yeah, so this is the VM which I had created. So you get the NIC cards in it, the energy rules, the public IP address, everything is there. So this was a thing which I created inside the resource group. So basically when I'm going to create the app service, again the app service is going to come under this resource group. So basically I had implemented everything. So yeah, my app is my app service is ready. So basically if I this is the URL to the app service. So if I click on this, it's going to open something. Yeah, so basically this is like the URL. So if your web app is running and it's just waiting for the what content. So basically I have not deployed anything. So basically if you go and so I have, because it's telling build with Python. So because I have used the runtime stack as Python, so it is showing me this. If you have chosen Java or Node.js, it would have shown Node.js. I think that screen is not visible. Yeah, so I think you can see the screen. So now it is showing your web app is running and waiting for your content. So basically I was telling that now since I've chosen the runtime as Python, so it is showing that you have to build with Python and all that stuff. So when I'm coming back here, so basically this is the same things. So I'm going to come to the deployment center. So here I have signed in as Niriksha, and this is my thing, and this is the runtime stack, and this is the version which I've chosen. So these are the logs. So basically here it gets to, I mean, you can see that I think it might work or it might not work. So yeah, basically here is the app logs. You can see where how the deployment activity has been taken place. Like, see, I had updated the modules, preparing the deployment for commit ID, repository path, all this. So this is the build or deployment log. So basically, I think it opens the GitHub tab. So here you get to know, like, you'll get to see the workflow, the CI/CD stuff. So first it goes from the build phase, and then how much time it took for the deployment stuff. So basically, what are the jobs it took? Because I'm rerunning it. See, these all stuff you can see. If you have a GitHub account, you can link this. So this is easy for a basic user also to try out. There's nothing complexity. So I think, yeah, my maybe there's some application error, but once the application is landed, I mean, I've printed the text as the same way. So basically you might get an error, or maybe some issue is there in my code. So but if you deploy a app, you'll get the output. Because it's deployed, I think there's a glitch in my code itself. But the build and everything is successful. So basically you got an idea, like how are you going to build a web app, right? Any questions on this?
So far, we don't have any questions, so you can continue, please.
Okay, fine. So basically you have heard that Azure is offering Azure Container Instance. So if cloud native technologies and containers, what is your liking? So somebody might go for a container service, somebody might go for Kubernetes service, and you might be thinking, what is Kubernetes and containers? So basically, in a nutshell, container is like a suite of software development tools in creating, sharing, and running individual stuffs. So you can take container as a Docker container. So Kubernetes is like a system of operating containers applications at a scale, like a big scale. So think of container as a standardized packing for microservices with all the native applications code and dependency in it. So that is what is the difference between Kubernetes and a container service. So when we are coming to the Azure container instances, so it is like a managed service that allows you to run containers directly on the Microsoft public cloud without requiring the use of VMs. So with Azure container instances, you don't have to provision underlying infrastructure. So basically, I'm going to show how is it done. So you might have, why am I telling about Azure container instances? As there is already traditional orchestrators already there available. Basically, when you're using the full orchestration platform, it manages and automates tasks like scheduling containers, managing affinity, monitoring health. But ACI uses a layered approach. It performs all the management functions needed to run on a single container. So that is the advantage. So I'll just show. Okay, I have to tell. So basically, I have to tell what is the difference between containers and VMs. So what do you think? What might be the difference between the containers and the VM? So containers are VMs are the technology for building virtualized computing environments, and here containers are like lightweight. It's like more in an agile way of handling virtualization. Since they don't have an hypervisor, you can enjoy faster provisioning, faster deployment, and faster availability. So rather than spinning up for an entire virtual machine, containerization is an easy job because even containerized containers also use the technology of virtualization. So use a form of operating system virtualization. So basically, I'm going to show the. It's loading. So again, I'm going to use the same resource group. I'm going to go at a quicker rate because there's not much of time for us. Basically, you can use Azure Content Registry or QuickSort any images. I'm using one availability zone. So basically, you got to know, right, like what. So it is deploying. Till then, I'm going to explain the next part of it. So AKS, so Kubernetes. So basically, you all know that K8s or Kubernetes was invented by the Google. So what is AKS? So Azure Kubernetes Services simplifies the deploying a managed Kubernetes cluster. So in Azure, by offloading operational overload to Azure. So as hosted as a Kubernetes service, Azure handles critical tasks like health monitoring and maintenance. So basically, there are important parts in the cluster and nodes. So basically, AKS nodes run on Azure VMs. With AKS nodes, you can connect storage to nodes and pods, upgrade the cluster, use the GPUs. AKS supports Kubernetes clusters that run on multiple node pools with having mixed flavors of operating system. So there are multiple versions of Kubernetes. I mean, the K8s versions, like imagine you have 1.1 version, you go to the next version. So there is an update on that. So basically, the core concept and the components of the Kubernetes is like the control plane, sorry, and the nodes and the node pools. And you have the work resources like the pods, deployment sets, etc. So basically, when you come to the Kubernetes architecture, so you have the API server, the scheduler, and the control manager, which is managed by the Azure. So what is the control plane? So when you create an AKS cluster, it is like automatically created and configured. So this is provided at no cost as it is managed by Azure resources. So you only pay for the nodes that is attached to this cluster. So basically, and the more important thing is that you should be knowing some of the commands to run on the node pools. So you can refer to the Windows documentation for this, which helps. So I'm going to show you the demo of it. Let me check if the container is ready. Yes. Yeah. So this is the container service. So you can stop the container running. So basically, you can restart the service. So see, these are the container instances. So this is the container which is running now. So this is the Microsoft Azure image, and you can see what are the properties that is running. So this is the Linux type, and port 80 is allowed restart policy on failure. This is subscription ID and the resource groups. So I'm going to go for the AKS now. So you can add an automation task, like what you want to do in an automatic view. Like so, basically, you can deploy applications on this also. So coming to the AKS now, the Kubernetes, the iconic service. So basically, I'm going to create. It's simple and easy way you can create services in Azure. So there's no hard and fast rule that nobody can create. So I'm just going to go for dev test. So see, basically you can see, right, there is standard. Standard is like best if you're not sure so what to choose. So because it works with most of the applications, so it's only giving uh like what is best for you. So basically you can choose any name for this. I'll choose demo. Basically, I'm using optimize for cost. So this is high availability and it's going to cost so much. So you can always the node count. So node count is like I can increase up to so many nodes. So this is not possible and not feasible because I don't want to pay so much cost. So auto scale is like, okay, it is going to scale from this range from 1 to 5, something like that. Yeah, so you can alter this because since if yeah, so maximum node count we have should be higher than the selected quota. So basically I'm using this. Next comes the node pools. So this is a node pool, so where it's having the node count of 1 to 1.5. So I don't want the virtual nodes. So next is the access type, so role based access. So the network configuration I've given as a Kubernetes and all. Enable HTTP routing, no. So you can create a container registry. So it connects you to connects your cluster to an container registry, which helps for seamless development from a private image. So basically I'm going to create a new image. So this all are the steps. Okay, fine. Yeah, right. The naming convention is a bit annoying at times. Yeah, it's loading. I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah, it's going to review and create. So basically, I've already okay, I can't change this. I'm going to duplicate the window. Yeah, so this is the AKS cluster which I've already built in. So because since this is taking a lot of time, so yeah, so this is it. It's succeeded and it's running. So you can see it in a JSON view also when you're coming. So basically everything is loaded in JSON. So yeah, see. So this might be maybe confusing for the new user who are just into the Azure. So yeah, these are the node pools. I have one node pool which is having this version, the configuration, and so these are the extensions which is there in this. So basically you have the security. Yeah. So this is the one feature which I missed to show. You can connect. So basically when I open the Cloud Shell, so basically I want to connect to the PowerShell. Okay, this is a CLI of the bash. Yeah, so basically if I copy this command, basically everything is ready. Azure is giving you everything at your service. So basically this command, these are the sample commands which sets the account. Like this is a subscription ID, this is going to set the account and get the credential of the AKS clusters. Basically AZ is like when you're using the Azure Cloud Cell, this is the starting when you're using this. So get credential is like get the credential of this AKS. So I think it's going to load. Yeah, so it's merged with the cube config. So basically I want to get all the nodes in my AKS. So kubectl get nodes. So I'm going to take a bit time. Yeah, see, these are the nodes present in my AKS cluster. So this the agent status is ready. So this was created 3 hours 55 minutes back, and this is the version. So you got to know how the AKS cluster is created. So the slides, yeah. So virtual desktop. So virtual desktop is like something like a desktop and app virtualization service that runs on the cloud. So basically, imagine you have basically like a remote desktop. It's not like a real laptop which is present. So basically, the key ability is like you have a full desktop virtualization environment in your Azure subscription without running for any gateway servers, publishing host pools or anything. So bring imagine your image for a production workloads or a test image from the Azure gallery. So that is going to save a lot of scaling and purposes. So you can deploy it in any way. So basically, now I showed you the Azure CLI. So how you can access your services from that service. So you can use the PowerShell also, the Bash shell to do this. So I'm just going to show the demo of this. Not going to still creating. This is there here. Okay, I'm going to search for it. Azure Virtual Desktop. Yes. So when you're coming to the uh, desktop, so this is the account. So it's saying hello Alakshay, create a host pool. So easily host pool is like you're creating a set of VMs. So basically I'm going to show you the how to create a host pool first. Take any resource group. Personal. So next is a virtual machine. So do you want to add virtual machines? So I'm just giving the random names. Bear with me. So you can choose how many VMs you want to be deployed. So I'm going for standard. Select the virtual network where the Azure firewall rule is used to secure the VNet and the host pool resources. So here, basically, you can use the same way like I did for the Azure virtual machine. You can use the administrator account. Guess something is missed. So it's going to take time to be creating. So basically, I'm going to show the quick demo of this using the virtual machine itself. So basically, it is going to do remote desktop itself. So basically, if I'm going to share the whole screen now. So now you can see you can see that I've copied the public address. So now I'm going to use RDP. So remote desktop connection. So I'm going to copy that public IP. Yes, I forgot the admin name. So I'm going to reset the password. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to reset the password date to Azure. So I'm going to update. So it's going to take a bit of time. I'm so sorry. Oops. So basically here you have to enter your credentials. Okay, I'm just waiting for the password to be resetting. So okay, fine. Okay, shit. So basically, I think I'm not able to connect where the password caps lock is on. Yeah. So now you can do RDP. So basically, you're going to enter to the remote desktop. So basically, if I have you, as you can see, this is the virtual desktop. It's loading. So basically, you have one more new window. So where inside the server you are managing this. So basically, this is fantastic service. So I just have to go down and show you the. So basically, you can go for command prompt or anything cmd, run it. It's working fine. The host name, you're going to get it. The IP of this. So everything. So this is like a remote thing. So this is like a virtual desktop. So you can use a remote working space or deploy apps in this and work. So this is very an interesting technology in Azure. So basically, I'm going to close this now and this and stop sharing. Yeah. So okay, I don't have so much time to explain. Okay. So the disk storage, I have told you about the OS disk and the data disks. Like how are you going to add the OS disk? And that storage types like standard, premium, and the basic, the HHD, the SSD, and the premium ones. So when you're going to choose a premium, obviously the cost is going to increase. So the latency for the norm, I mean, there is hot, yeah, that is for the disks. So when you're coming to hot, cool, and archive. So archive is like it is like having the longest storage, I mean lowest storage cost, because it is having the highest access and the transition costs are too much for this. When you're coming to the middle one, the cool one, there is lower storage costs and there is higher access. Maybe because you have minimum storage duration is only for 30 days. But when you're coming for hot storage, it's like its availability is 99.9%, higher storage costs and lower access levels, like nobody can access that amount. These are the storage tiers. So coming to Cosmos DB, so this is the important uh, database. You can say it as a database in Azure. So basically in Cosmos DB, everything is like you have a graph database, you have the normal SQL DB, or you can start with get started with the SQL queries, etc. So basically, I'm going to quickly show you the demo since there is shortage of the time. So I have already built one. So basically, if you can add a container or anything as such, I'm going to explain all this stuff. So basically, the most important stuff in using the Cosmos DB is the Data Explorer. So basically, when you come to the Data Explorer, you can, it's telling welcome globally distributed multi-model database for any scale. So you can start with a sample database or you can create new one. So basically, I have already created one database. These are the items. So this is item. So in Cosmos DB, the data is stored in a JSON format. So basically, like MongoDB, if you go for the MongoDB, it is in the JSON format. So here also it is stored in the JSON format. So if you want, you can add new items, run queries like go here, add new items, save it, something like that. So even you can write triggers or user defined functions also. So basically this also helps to enable the Azure Synapses link, and also you have the connectivity to the GitHub, so which is a greater thing for Cosmos DB. So even if you want, you can add new item and save it. It's going to run. So maybe it's close it. So basically, I have already these items. So yeah, you can upload this item to a JSON file and keep it, or you can also delete. So when you're coming to this, yeah. So here you have default consistency. So basically, it's consistent, like strong. Strong consistency, it provides the most predictable and intuitive programming model. So basically, when you configure uh, your account with the strong consistency level, Azure provides linear guarantee. So basically, you can see this consistency. So how are the writes? Like it's consistent, and how are the reads? It's consistent. Like the musical notes, how are it's consistent. So even the boundless. So unlike strong consistency, which is scoped to a single region, you can choose the stay less consistency with number of regions. So I think I've given the depth of this. Then you have the firewall rules. So then you have backup and restore. So how often you would like the backup to be performed, how many hours you can take the backup to be performed. You have the integration tools like the Power BI, Azure functions. All this are available in the Cosmos DB. So this is just a brief outlook of this. So next, when you're coming the last part, I guess. So, yeah, Azure SQL instances is the last thing. Okay, fine. I'm going to take a little bit of your time. So what is SQL? SQL is like a standard query language. So basically, here you have an SQL server, and you have the pools of servers like SQL DBs. Like you can basically, if you take an instance, you can create number of SQL servers in this. So basically, here it's like you can build apps faster. Basically, it's fully managed SQL DB. So basically, it's always up to date. You can migrate your SQL workloads with the SQL servers on Azure VMs. So you can modernize the existing apps. So I'll just show you the quick demo. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So if you have to create a DB, you have to create a you can create SQL virtual machines also. So but I'm going to create only a database. See, or you can create a elastic pool itself. Basically, elastic pool provides cost effective solutions for managing the performance of multiple DB. So I guess by this time you have got an idea like how to create a DB. So basically, this is my database. I mean, my DB. So, I mean, sorry, this is an SQL server. So there is no databases found on this, and this is not even an SQL DB. So there is DTU quota, data transferring unit. Like currently, it is using 5 DTUs out of this. So how is the DTI quota being used? And then there is backups. So backup is essential for a database. Then you have the private connections, private endpoint connections, which allows the connections from the virtual net to use the private IP using the endpoint features. So here basically you can run this, you can create a database itself. Okay, I guess it's not being able to create. Okay, so I'm going to explain the last topic of today's session, that is the Azure Marketplace. So basically, everybody might have been to a market. So you get whatever you want. So here, same way, Azure Marketplace is like an online store that contains thousands of IT software applications and services built by the industry. By leading technologies in Azure Marketplace, you can find by deploy the software and services you need to build for different industries and technical areas. So basically, if okay, I'm going to show you the screen itself. This is the marketplace. So here you can see you have Meta, the expert MSPs, the Microsoft service providers. So this is the entire category. So come analytics services. You can use so many services. You can use the Bitcoin on Windows servers. Wow. Blockchain servers, the compute facilities. I guess it's the VM images. So these are the VM images for Elasticsearch, Ubuntu, any flavors of VM you can be using it. There are different containers. So this is like a market. So you'll get whatever you need as and when you want. So I think you have got most of the insights for today's benefits. So if you have any doubt, please. So that's
Yeah,
all
so
for
we have
today.
one questions like Cosmos DB performance is better than MongoDB. I'm not sure what this question is all about, but so I guess you better take it.
Yes, sure. So basically, every can you give me 1 minute?
Okay, so we have a little network glitch from M side, so no worries. So what we can do till then, so I can explain. I'm just sharing the uh, Discord link with you all. So you have to join this Discord link for tomorrow's quiz, and the quiz will be live at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and the quiz will be on Azure Basic Fundamentals, that the syllabus that is covered. Okay, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow at 7 p.m. And the questions will be are very basic, so don't get worried. You can still stand a chance to win, and the winners will be only declared from the JMITI college. And so here is the Discord link that you can join. So it's also tickering in your screen if you can see. So this is the Discord link that you can join and be a part of our Discord server community. So ma'am is finally here. Let's do with this.
Just got disconnected. I'm sorry.
No worries. Perfect.
Yeah. So basically, So the question was, what? Why is Cosmos DB better than MongoDB? So Cosmos DB is comparatively faster than MongoDB in most of the common use cases. Although MongoDB performs better than over 1 MB of payload. So basically, when you come to Cosmos DB, it's cheaper. It's 93% cheaper for more reads and it's cheaper for more writes. So basically, for MongoDB is costing little more for the write facilities than the Cosmos DB. So when we work with different kind of database technology, we experience high scalability and efficient systems. So basically, so what is like Cosmos DB? So Cosmos DB is also same multi-model with NoSQL DB that provides strong consistency. Even MongoDB is providing NoSQL DB that are used for modern distributed and cloud-based applications. So even there is an advantage in MongoDB that is going to perform the Bison format, that is like the JSON come the binary format. So binary encoding of JSON-like documents, and it also supports nested arrays. But the throughput of up to 5 consistency level is backed by the Azure. So I mean Azure Cosmos DB, which is the ideal feature for the business, which is the core idea building such a database technology to make it horizontally scalable and it is globally distributed. So basically, even you can leverage MongoDB as a service on any platform. So basically, benchmarking of Azure DB and MongoDB might be like, so basically Azure is using the Intel Xeon platform, I mean the Platinum server, which is way faster than the normal specification of MongoDB. And the benchmarking capability of Cosmos DB is 1 KB payload, which performs better for create, update, and delete operations, as well as uh, but the read operations of MongoDB is better than Cosmos DB. It is way faster than Cosmos DB. So both are having its advantages and disadvantages. So I guess I've told the difference. Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Okay, so perfect. So as I said, here is the disk. So if anyone has any other doubts regarding any, like if you face any doubts regarding the hands-on part, so please do share your doubts in the comment section. We are happy to take your doubts. Still, if you don't have any doubts, what we can do is, as the Discord server community channel, you can follow this link to get over this our Discord server community. And in case you feel, okay, just a second. Oh, so in case you feel like how if you are feeling lost so how to work with all the Discord or the Azure portal and anything, any doubts you are facing, then you can just drop down your doubts in the Discord server community too. We have very active participants over there. So we have some experienced person having 22 plus year experience there, so they can help you out with this your queries and all. And if you have any certification related queries, those who have registered for this event using the link, they will be getting certification vouchers. Those, so there is a certain process that you have to follow. And let me, okay, so you have to go to certification in the Discord server community channel, and where the all the steps are explained, and you have to follow all those steps to claim your certification voucher. So just you have to go in the Discord server community, Azure Developer Discord server community channel, and you have to go in certification channel. Then what you have to do, you have to update your LinkedIn with Azure skills. Then you have to then you have to share your LinkedIn profile in one form. So after submitting your form, you will be getting Azure certification coupon voucher in approximate 1 week or more. Okay, so this is it about the Azure certification voucher. If you need like the about the specs part, so yeah, you will be getting the specs, but only top 3 winners from JMITI College, those who will be winning in the last final day quiz, will be getting the specs from our site. So stay tuned with us. Still, we are going for the day 3, and it will be going to a very total entire hands-on session like today. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and thanks Niriksha for giving a kind for delivering the session, and it was really an experience to host you. So let's meet tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. Okay. Perfect.